we're gonna be serious for our first question.
Okay.
We have a lot of concerns about how travel will be this year on Christmas Eve. We've heard a lot of people say delivery might be delayed this year. Santa, what's your response to that?
Well, we don't plan on there being any concerns. You know, it's always something we have to think about and deal with every single year. But, you know, we travel around the world, so we try to hit the warmer locales first, you know, give the colder weather places like LEL Michigan an opportunity to warm up a little bit, the plows out, you know, that kind of thing. But for us, you know, we're up there, so it doesn't matter what the backups on the highway are or at the mall or anything else. We are able to make our rounds.
Taking it to the sky.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. So when you're up there, you know, you're flying around, what is the best thing about delivering toys from the air on Christmas Eve?
Well, you know, the kids always ask, or not always, but a lot of kids ask, you know, how does Santa do that in one night, and how do you get into all the houses? And I have got a set of keys, for one thing. And I always, when I go, you know, to visit kids around the world, I take them with me and ask them, you know, what do you think these keys are for? And so, you know, all the kids will raise their hands. And, you know, one key is for the workshop, and when it gets close to Christmas like this, we end up locking the workshop up at night because the elves are baking toys all day. Well, then when they go back and have dinner and have their, you know, quiet time in the evenings, so many of them try to sneak out and want to go play with the toys that they have built. So we ended up having to lock it at night when we're done, because what happens is we've had too many times when the elves, kind of like some of our kids, play with the toys, but then they forgot to put everything back when they're done. So we'll walk in there the next morning and we've got a mess all over the place. The other key I have is for the reindeer barn, and it's the same thing with the reindeer. When we have them here, and there are going to be a couple of reindeer here tonight, but they can't fly. The only time the reindeer are able to fly is on Christmas Eve around the world, and then they can fly at the North Pole where all the practicing is done. But again, at night we have to lock that door because they end up wanting to sneak out and just play, you know, the reindeer games type of thing. So, and then the other key is for all the houses that don't have a fireplace, or, you know, have an artificial fireplace. And that key on Christmas Eve works every door in the world to get me in, so we can deliver toys to everybody no matter where they live. So then the magic of Christmas, of course, is ours, and we don't reveal too many of our secrets, but Santa is able to make it down the chimneys without getting burned. If people ask, you know, well, what if we have a fire going? I say that, you know, that won't matter. You know, we can get it. Of course, you've seen a lot of the Christmas movies of what happens, and of course, most of those are just movies. You know, they're not real life like what we are. But so yeah, we have no problems making our rounds.
So you say there's a lot of magic you can't reveal, but the 24th of December is obviously a lot different than any other days for you. So walk me through exactly how you prep your big night that evening.
Well, for one thing, the elves have been working on loading the sleigh for actually probably about a week now. So when we get up Christmas Eve morning, the sleigh's ready to go. We just go over with the elves that are in charge of the sleigh, that are in charge of the reindeer, and just make sure that everything is ready to go for Christmas Eve. And then it's really just kind of a relaxing day till it's time to get ready to go. And of course, the first place we go is down there to Australia, the other side of the world. So it, you know, it works on time zones and everything else as far as where we go and what order we go to places. But once I get in the sleigh and I'm gone, then the elves, we got a big movie theater, and every year Christmas Eve, of course, they're not working, and they always pick out a couple of movies and go and sit and watch movies and just relax and do their thing around the North Pole or in their little cottages or, whatever they may want.
So when you're making your deliveries, out of the reindeer, who gives you the most trouble?
Well, that's a little different question than what I'm usually asked is who's your favorite reindeer?
Oh boy.
Well, that's kind of like a parent saying, well, who's your favorite? You're asking a parent who's their favorite child. So I don't have a favorite one. They all can be mischievous at when they want to be. And of course, come Christmas Eve, they're all business. It's what it is. And when Santa's in, whenever I talk to kids, I always tell them, if you think about it, can you leave out a couple carrots or some apples or something we can give to the reindeer, because they're the ones that do all the work. I'm along for the ride basically. So yeah, they all, I can't say anyone is more mischievous than any other, but they all have their moments.
They have their personalities.
Yeah, they're Santa's kids,
Very funny. So one thing I was very curious about, so when you're delivering toys, obviously you're walking in, or you're going through the fireplace. A lot of kids are leaving milk and cookies. I know you love that, but what's your favorite cookie?
Well, Santa loves cookies. To say I have a favorite, I really don't. So when kids are asking me, well, what's your favorite cookie? I just turn it around and I say, well, what's your favorite? And chocolate chip, of course, is the #1 that they say. And so I'll just tell them, well, why don't you, before Christmas Eve, get with Mom, help her make some cookies, leave out just a couple for Santa, and then you guys as a family eat the rest of them. But we want to make sure it's something that you guys like. So that's never an issue. And I bring home, think about it, around the world, and many of the places leave cookies. So I end up bringing a lot of them home and sharing them with the elves and that kind of thing. So I make sure we spread the love and the joy around.
So you're traveling all across the world, you're meeting a lot of different children, but tell me why Lowell, Michigan is so important to Santa.
Well, we've got, Mrs. Claus and I have got friends that live here in town that we have known for many, many years. And so they would, just invite us here in the off season to come and hang out, and see the river and all the stuff they have to do here in the community. And we just kind of fell in love with it. And it's not the only place. We've got a lot of other places that we spend time at. But Lowell is one that's it's almost like a second home, for us. And in the off season, of course, I still a lot of times I'll wear red. I'll have a little leather pouch where I carry candy canes with me no matter where we go. So anywhere we go, I'm always getting kids. My beard is always kept fairly long. After Christmas, I usually trim it shorter, but it's left long. And so, we're Santa and Mrs. Claus year round. So whether we're here in Grand Rapids, Ada, Alto, and that's the cool thing about this book where we have kids sign in, is that we have them write down where they're from. And then Mrs. Claus records all the communities from around Michigan and out of state that we have visitors from. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. And I want to ask about Mrs. Claus. Really enjoyed Lowell. She loved the boat here, so she decided to decorate it. And a lot of the stuff you showed us, she made herself. So
yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, she's very, 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 very crafty. Has been all of our adult life, and it's a case where, like the sleigh over there, that's something that we bought and got many years ago. She's just, we have fixed it up, rebuilt it. She just actually repainted it this past summer. These elves that she has made, the fireplace, she just always wants to make the experience magical for the kids. So you can come every year since we've been doing this, and every year it's different. Next year it'll be more things that she's added, to the mix of what we do, because we just, it's for the kids. It's all about the kids. And so whatever we can do, and you know, sometimes many of them wait out in line for anywhere from an hour to 2 hours to get in to see us. And of course, with us doing this for many years, you know, they know that we're going to be here, and so parents will do that. Will wait in line. So when they get in here, we want it to be a magical experience. You know, we want them to say, wow, this was worth the wait if it's their first time here. And once they leave my chair, grab a candy cane and start wandering here, half an hour later, they may still be here, you know, taking pictures over the sleigh, just chatting with other people that are, you know, that are there in line, and it's very magical. Yeah. So she's very creative. We make a lot of the things. Well, actually, she makes most of the things that are wooden, or you know, gets them and repairs them and fixes them up. You know, whatever it might be. So, for instance, one of our new things this year is our reindeer down here behind the fence. He's, you know, brand new this year, and you know, like I say, every year it's more things.
It's very obvious that you are extremely passionate about bringing the magic of Christmas to kids everywhere. Tell me why that's your purpose. Tell me why, you know?
Well, Mrs. Claus and I have always been kids-oriented, even as when we were young many, many years ago. And as we grew, and Santa, of course, it's the North Pole, it's cold, we've always lived there, it's cold, so Santa grows his beard out and basically leaves it year-round. And you know, the elves, they're our kids, you know, and we have 869 elves, and we know every one of them by name, and you know, we treat every one of them whenever they come to see us or have a question or a concern or whatever. You know, we treat every one of them one-on-one and get, you know, whatever it is they want to know, you know, we are able to take care of. So it's just been a passion of ours forever, you know.
Clearly you're checking the naughty nice list, but I want to make sure that you're actually checking it. You know,
Yes.
you're really prepared. So I'm
Yes.
going to ask you a few questions. Cameron Green from Lowell, naughty or nice?
Nice. You know, and let me tell you a quick little story. Santa's naughty or nice list is much different than mom and dad's. Okay? I tell kids and even parents, they'll say, well, you know, what about me as the parent? How am I doing? I said, well, you know, you're kind of right on the fence there. You could go either way, but you've got till Christmas to be on the nice list. And I'll tell the kids the same thing. And I'll have times when parents will, you know, whisper to me or let Mrs. Claus know that Billy is, you know, been having a little problems at school, or, you know, not doing his chores at home. So I'll talk to them about that, why they're up here seeing me, and letting them know that's all part of making Santa's good list. But if there's any concern, which I can see on a child's face about, you know, they're worried that they're not going to be, I'll just whisper to them that, you know, I want you to know that just about every kid in the world makes Santa's good list. So, you know, as long as you do the things mom and dad ask you and do your stuff in school, you'll be okay.
So how about we'll phrase the question like this. Instead of naughty or nice, I'll ask you if you remember them. So we have London from Grand Rapids.
Yes, he's been on Santa's good list for many years. And the thing that makes it so nice and fun is that at the age that they come in to see Santa, I mean, we have them, you know, teenagers and adults too, but, you know, most of them are, you know, anywhere from 2-week-old babies to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And so for most of them, it's kind of hard at that age still to be on a naughty list, even on, you know, it's at school or wherever. You know, they may have their issues or their problems with not doing their homework, or you know, not taking out the trash at home when they're supposed to. But never any serious problems. And so I talk to the kids, and if the parents want me to question them about something, you know, we do that and let them know. And Mrs. Claus is always sitting over here, and she greets them first as they come in. So if there's anything the parents want me to know, you know, she comes up and lets me know before the child comes up. Otherwise, we just, you know, keep them coming. But the nice thing about being here compared to a lot of places is we take time to visit with the kids, you know, answer their questions, hear what's, you know, the favorite thing that they want for Christmas, and let our photographer takes pictures, which they put online for parents to be able to take. Parents, grandparents, anybody here can take all the pictures they want. Not only of Santa, Mrs. Claus gets pictures with a lot of the kids while they're waiting, but right on around the circle, you know, they can get all the pictures that they may want of things.
So I was looking in the book, and I saw a certain name, and I wanted to know if you remembered meeting her. It says Erin Sullivan, WZZM 13.
Oh yes.
I don't know if she's on the naughty or nice
list. And she's one of my older kids. And a lot of what puts them on the good list is when the last time they got their picture taken with Santa. And for Erin, it's been a little while.
Oh boy.
But yeah, she will be on Santa's good list. And she's just one of those people that loves Christmas and loves kids, and so she's not a problem.
Thank goodness for that. All right, well, looks like we've got a lot of good kids on the list. Aubrey says here she was super good this year and not sinful.
Yeah.
Aubrey, she's on the good list,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yep. And I like I say, if they come here to see Santa, sign Santa's book, get their pictures, and you know, most of the time they're up here, they give us a big smile, and so I can just tell by looking at them if they're going to be a problem or not. And we never have any issues with the kids that we visit.
Good, amazing.
It's the ones that we don't see that I worry about.
I do too. So you brought in some stuff to show us, your keys.
Yes. This is just a travel bag I have, but here's my keys that I was telling you about. So this key locks up the reindeer barn so that the reindeer aren't getting out at night and playing and being tired when we get them up to practice their flying the next morning. This key right here locks up the toy shop. Again, because the elves want to get in there and play and end up sometimes leaving a mess that we have to clean up the next day. But this is the most important key, and this is the one for homes around the world that don't have a real fireplace. You know, we've got condominiums and buildings and apartments, you know, that are, you know, umpteen stories tall, and they may not have fireplaces in them. So this, on Christmas Eve, this gets me into every house in the world. So no child has to worry about it. And if kids have moved, or if kids are gonna be visiting Grandma and Grandpa in Florida or wherever else they might be, Santa knows where they're gonna be. So Santa never loses a child during our trips. And then this is Rudolph's training collar. So this is what he wears throughout the season before Christmas Eve. All the reindeer have one. I bring his to show because he's the smallest, and so it fits into my bag nicely. I've had kids, I'll show these to the kids. These bells are brass. The Christmas Eve bells for the sleigh are silver bells, but these make a beautiful sound. And I tell kids, if you go to bed good on Christmas Eve, a lot of times you may hear Santa's sleigh coming. I said, if you do, you don't want to get up and look out the window. I said, you want to cover up your head and go right to sleep, because Santa always looks in the bedrooms to make sure kids are sleeping before we bring in the toys. And if they're not, if they're up and awake and reading and talking or this or that, we just go on to the next house. And hopefully we'll have time to come back to their house. So I tell kids, on Christmas Eve, you have to go to bed good for Santa Claus. So the rest of the year is, between you and your mom and dad. But on Christmas Eve, you have to do it for Santa Claus. And so these are the two most important things that I carry with me anywhere that I go to visit kids or here on the showboat. Because I just want them to have a little bit of a vision of, the North Pole and what it might be like. We've got a book over there that's several years old, but that's a book with pictures, some pictures from the North Pole. And so again, while kids are waiting in line, they, thumb through that and see what's going on. So that helps some of the questions that I get from kids.
Kids who are in that age and they might hear some friends at school questioning the magic of Christmas, and now they start to worry about it. What message do you have?
Is it real or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I tell kids, the magic of Christmas and Santa Claus is real. It has been since. I tell kids when they ask how old you are, I say, well, have your parents help you if you're not old enough to figure it out, but to get on the computer and look up St. Nicholas. And you can go back and find out just when this all started. But yeah, I'll have kids, I'll have parents that say, well, I'm not sure if Joey or Susie are, still believing, but, they're not telling us that they don't. So, I'll talk to them about it. I'll ask them questions that gets them to thinking. And 99 times out of 100, we'll get a phone call, an email, something on their way out just saying that he believes. You're the real Santa. And, that's another question that I get a lot is, every place we go this time of year, we see lots of Santa Clauses. Some look more real than others. And I tell them, well, the thing is that Santa can only be in one place at a time. Like when I'm here, physically here tonight, and other times that I'm here, I can't be in Grand Rapids or Ada or Wyoming or wherever in the local area. So Santa hand selects people, men from around the world that first of all can either have the look with a real beard or have a good-looking, artificial beard. But the biggest thing is having the dream and the wonder and the magic of Christmas here in the heart. And you can look like Santa Claus, but if you're an old Scroogey, grumpy guy, then we're not the place that you need to be. But there are so many people, and then these Santas. So I tell them, it's up to you. If you want to let the kids know that you're the real Santa, that's fine to do that, because at that moment you are the real Santa and then they get a hold of me. They're in touch with me on a daily basis, letting me know about all the kids that they visit. Who's on the nice list, who's on the naughty list, who do we have to work on, things that they might want for Christmas, that type of thing. Another thing that we get asked about a lot is we have an elf on a shelf at our house, and so the first thing I'll ask them is, what one have you got, what's their name, and then have they been good, or have they been getting into a little bit of trouble, a little mischievous, whatever. And most of the time they'll say, yeah, our elf has done this. We caught, he was in the bathroom and unrolled the whole roll of toilet paper, whatever. We get so many stories from the kids, and the parents love it. And of course the kids are not to touch the elves. That can make them lose their magic. And they don't, they're very good. And the elves many times will hide. When they wake up tomorrow morning, they'll be in a different spot than they were today. And so then the kids have to try to find them. And as the season progresses, it gets harder and harder to find them. And then these elves are training to be Santa's elves at the North Pole and building toys. So we send them into homes to keep an eye on the kids. They all fly back to the North Pole, and come to me and let me know if their family that they've been living with, if the kids are being good, or if there's something we need to deal with. And it's so much fun because the elves have so much fun. The kids, the families, the moms and dads, everybody has so much fun with the elves that it's become a pretty major part of Christmas. It's a very important thing for kids,
yeah.
You know, because again, it's something that keeps them in the Christmas mode on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And mom and dad trying to remind them to make sure you're being good because, you know, your elf is watching you.
Yeah.
And the kids are able, the families are able to name their elf. That's why I always have to ask them, you know, who their elf is. But they always come and see Santa every night while the kids are sleeping. So.
Very smart, very smart.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, Santa, there's so many kids, and you know the world population keeps growing that we just have to keep coming up with more ways to make sure we know all of the kids and who is on the good list and who may not be at this point. So.
Very nice.